boy Jay Leon Love, man, and shout out to Jay Calderon, Boxing Talk.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Jay Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's Boxing Talk. We're going to do a recap over the fights that took place this past weekend. First, we're going to start off overseas in Ireland, Belfast, where we had Carl the Jackal Frampton make his return in his hometown against 4-division world champion Nonito the Philippine Flash Donaire. This was a very good fight, an excellent fight, a crossroad fight between a young, hungry lion versus an old warrior. And Nonito Donaire is not where he once was when he was top 5 pound for pound best fighter in the world. Nonito is 35 years old. He still showed a great heart, the heart of a true champion. He fought throughout this fight. He had a cut over his eye that happened in the second round, but the younger, quicker fighter in Carl Frampton proved to be the deciding factor in this fight because Frampton was on his game. He looked very fast with his hand speed, controlling the tempo, landing his jab, landing some nice body work, and just letting off those quick combinations to show that he was in control over Nonito Donaire. Donaire was game. He landed a couple of good shots, but he was slower. His foot speed wasn't that good. He couldn't catch up with the Jackal. The Jackal was just peppering him with quick shots and combinations punching and was just dazzling throughout this fight. He put on a great performance against a game, tough warrior in Nonito Donaire, who, should basically hang up the gloves because it's time for him to retire. He's not going to be able to compete with these young fighters. Carl Frampton won a unanimous 12-round decision in a comfortable fashion, and I got to tip my hats off. This was a great promotion up in Belfast. Frank Warren and them did an excellent job. There was a big crowd on hand, and they saw their hometown fighter and Carl Frampton win a very good fight in their backyard. And now he puts himself in a position for a world title shot opportunity because he captured an interim WBO featherweight title, and he's in line to take on Oscar Valdez next. That's another great, hungry, young champion that's undefeated, and that would be a great fight here in the United States. But Carl Frampton has a bigger fight and bigger payday on the table with the winner between Lee Shelby, the IBF champion, against his mandatory Josh Wellington. And that's a big matchup between those two right there. The winner of that fight will definitely be a big fight opportunity for the Jackal. And that's the fight that they're going to lean toward. It's a much bigger fight over in the UK, a bigger payday, especially if it's Lee Shelby who wins that fight. And then we'll see a big matchup between Shelby and Carl Frampton. And as for Nonito Donaire, he's had a great career. He's definitely a future Hall of Famer, winning titles in 4 different weight divisions. So much respect to the Filipino Flash, and I look forward to Nonito Donaire perhaps sticking around in boxing and becoming a ringside commentator in the future. Now we move over to Liverpool, England, where we saw Amir make his ring return after almost 2 years layoff and against a Canadian fighter in Phil Greco, which was a demolishment in just 39 seconds. It took Amir to blow this guy out of the water, and it was just an easy fight for Amir Khan. I wish he would have had a few rounds in. It was such a quick blowout. We really can't talk much about this fight. I know that they didn't want to put him in there with a top 15, even a top 10 fighter because he's been out for so long. He fought at a catch weight at 150 pounds, but now he got back into the ring. He's in training camp. He should take another fight before he steps up against at least a top 10 type contender, a big name opponent. Amir Khan is an excellent fighter. This guy has tremendous hand speed, decent punching power, great boxing skills. He just has a horrible chin. There's no doubt about his chin factor. This guy will get knocked out against a serious puncher. A fight that I would love to see him fight is against Adrien Broner. But there's other fights on the table. He's still in line with Al Heyman, and there's great opportunity now that he's with Eddie Hearn. Everyone wants to see the Kell Brook fight. That fight is not going to happen unless it takes place at 154 pounds or a catch weight between 150 and 154. But Amir Khan has already stated that if that fight happens, it has to happen at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds, and that's not going to happen for Kell Brook. He cannot make that weight anymore. We saw what happened when he went up against Errol Spence at that weight. So Kell Brook has moved on, and this is going to become one of those fights, one of those big fights that never happened in boxing. And it's a shame because these guys had an opportunity for many years to fight each other, and Amir Khan has held up that fight for all these years. So what's next for Amir Khan? We have to wait and see, but a trip to the United States against a good, solid top 10 fighter should be on the cards. You know, a journeyman fighter to get more rounds in the bank before he takes on a big name. Now, moving over to the United States at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, yours truly, J. Calderon, was in the building to witness 3 very good fights. We first start off with the young 23-year-old Gervonta Tank Davis, who put on a spectacular performance in knockout fashion over Jesus Cuellar. This was a fight that I really thought that was going to be an upset. I thought Cuellar was going to come in there with his experience, his hard-hitting punching power, his aggressive attack. This guy is a pressure-type fighter, but Tank Davis really surprised me. He's working now with Kevin Cunningham, a new trainer. He looked tremendously focused and ready in there. All business. He was not playing around. He showed the great hand speed that we know that he had. He showed that tremendous punching power that we also know that he had. He went in there with an outstanding body attack from the first round. He was ripping those shots to the body, putting beautiful combinations together and landing the uppercut, that vicious uppercut that he has on the inside. He dropped Cuellar in the second round with a body shot, and it showed that the body work was affecting Cuellar, because Cuellar was definitely hurt with those body shots. He was having trouble. He couldn't deal with the hand speed that Gervonta Davis was displaying, and Gervonta looked in pure perfection, you know, just getting off those shots, combination punching that dropped Cuellar in the third round, and Cuellar was in very big trouble. He finished him off. The referee stopped the fight, and it was a spectacular finish and a punctuation to a very impressive performance by Gervonta Davis. And I got to tip my hats off. I was wrong about this fight 100%. You know, I'm not always going to get it right, but Gervonta Davis did look very good in this fight. What's next for him? We know that Mayweather said that he's been in talks with Top Rank to get Lomachenko as the next big fight. That's the one that the fight fans have been calling for. I don't think that he's quite ready yet to take on Lomachenko. Lomachenko still has to get past Jorge Linares, which is a big fight that's coming up in a few weeks. But Gervonta Davis has said that he would love to unify the title that he just won, the WBA Junior Lightweight title. He's a 2-time world champion, just 23 years old, and he would like to unify against the upcoming winner between Tevin Farmer and Billy Didds. That's a fight that's going to happen for the IBF vacant Junior Lightweight title. The winner of that, Tevin Farmer, who has a history with Gervonta Davis. They had that beef about a year ago, and I was there for that. And this was a heated argument at the MGM National Harbor in the Washington, D.C. area. That's a matchup that Farmer has been advocating for quite some time. If he becomes world champion, then this makes the perfect sense to make this fight right here a unification match between these two young fighters, a great matchup. And then we can see if Lomachenko gets past Jorge Linares for the lightweight title, Gervonta Davis can move up to the lightweight division and challenge for that world title in a big fight opportunity. But we also have Mikey Garcia that's returning back down to 135 pounds, and he is the WBC lightweight champion. So there's great opportunities, big fights down the road for this young champion and Gervonta Davis. You know, let him enjoy this moment. He's looking very good with his new trainer, Focus. He's left Baltimore, Maryland. He's following the advice of Floyd Mayweather, training out in Las Vegas. And we look for great opportunities for this young kid right here. Now, also on the undercard, we had the return of Jermall Charlo in the 160-pound middleweight division. He went in there like he wanted to do and make a statement. He took on a tough Mexican fighter in Hugo, the boss, Centeno Jr., and that was a very quick fight that ended in a second-round knockout. Jermall Charlo is just a beast. This man wasted no time going in there, landing a beautiful left hook that put Centeno Jr. out. And Jermall Charlo, you really can't say anything about this man. He wants his title shot opportunity. He called out Triple G. He won a WBC interim title. He's now the mandatory challenger for Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. But that fight is not going to take place anytime soon. This fight is not going to take place until at least 2019 because Triple G is now fighting Baines Matarosa in just less than 2 weeks' notice because of Canelo Alvarez being court tested for steroids use and being banned for the next 6 months. Triple G had to take a last-minute replacement. You know, you can't knock him for the guy that he's fighting. We wish he was fighting a better fighter. That's going to be an easy fight that he's going to just knock out his opponent and win his 20th title defense. But he's not going to face Charlo next. He has big fight opportunities that's in front of him big money payday fights over in the UK or even in the United States against WBO middleweight champion Billy Joe Saunders. That's the next fight that's going to trump over that mandatory because it's a unification match for all the title belts to become the undisputed middleweight king. Then you have the big money fight between Canelo Alvarez that's going to take place over a guy like Charlo, and you can't blame him. It's a fight that a lot of fans want to see. It's a fight that didn't get to happen now, but definitely is going to happen in the near future. Both of these guys want to fight each other. They got unfinished business because the first fight ended in a draw. So Charlo is not going to get his opportunity because Triple G has 2 big fights in front of him before the year is out. So Charlo has to stay busy. He has to fight a big fight to stay relevant and to really continue to climb in the middleweight division. So who is out there? Who is the biggest fight for him that's on the table? That's going to be Daniel Jacobs. That's the fight that fight fans are really getting excited about because it is a legitimate fight. It's a fight that Charlo's not even talking about really. And you have Daniel Jacobs who's going to fight this weekend at the Barclays Center. He shouldn't have a problem taking care of his Polish opponent and really continuing his rise back into the middleweight contention. And I think that this is a great opportunity for these guys to fight this year. You know, it's a big fight at the Barclays Center, and I think that it's a perfect opportunity for both men to get in line for the undisputed middleweight title in 2019. So why not make this fight? They're both managed by Al Heyman, and it's a great fight between 2 young, hungry, power-punching fighters with great skill and great hand speed, and I would love to see that fight happen. Now, the main event of the evening was the matchup between 4-division world champion Adrien Broner versus 2-time world champion Jessie Vargas. It was an excellent fight. It was a fight that I knew that was going to go 12 rounds. You know, Adrien Broner looked like Adrien Broner in the beginning. He was working with Kevin Cunningham for the first time. And I got to tell you right now, there has to be a lot of credit for this man, trainer. Kevin Cunningham is one of the best trainers in boxing. And this man has done an excellent job, you know, re-energizing Adrien Broner and also working with Gervonta Tank Davis because both of these men put on great performances this night. And it's all due to the work of trainer Kevin Cunningham. You know, Adrien Broner started off slow, looking like Adrien Broner from the past, wasn't letting his hands go. He was giving away the early rounds. He didn't start picking it up until about the 3rd round. But Jessie Vargas won the first half of this fight, you know, doing more of the work, getting more of the rounds in the bank. But we saw as the fight kept on going on, we saw Adrien Broner turning it up. He was looking very good, very sharp in there, using the quick hand speed. We know he had the faster hands, ripping shots to the body, putting on beautiful combination displays. He had a lot of outbursts here and there, but Jessie Vargas was game. He was tough. He did get cut in this fight, but he kept on landing that overhand right. He was using the jab, boxing, and brawling at times, you know, mixing it up. Very versatile by Jessie Vargas, but we saw Adrien Broner looking very strong down the stretch. Stamina looked good. He looked in tremendous shape. He had the footwork. He had the hand speed, and he was just dazzling in this performance. This had to be the best performance that we've seen in Adrien Broner in many years, and it's all due to the new training camp, the dedication, the focus. We know that when Adrien is 100% focused, he's a very talented fighter, a very good fighter, and he proved it in this fight. It was a draw. I don't have a problem with that scorecard right there. It was a close fight. 2 judges made it a draw. 1 judge gave it to Adrien Broner. I had it for Jessie Vargas. I scored it 7 rounds to 5 for Jessie Vargas. But if you take 1 round and you give it to the other fighter, it becomes an automatic draw. A lot of people scored it 7-5 for Broner, 7-5 for Jessie Vargas. If you talk to a lot of fans, that's what their scorecard was. It wasn't a one-sided fight. It was a very close fight. It was a very entertaining fight that I had the pleasure to be there in the house watching a very good fight performance by both men. I tip my hats off to them. I believe they should have a rematch because it was such a great fight between both of them. I think they could produce another real good, solid performance. You know, either one of these guys are not ready for the guys at 147 pounds because Adrien Broner is just too small. We saw Jessie Vargas, who looked very big in there. He looked like a junior middleweight versus a lightweight against Adrien Broner. Even though Broner held his own, he still looks like a very small man in the ring against these big welterweights. You know, Errol Spence Jr. will manhandle a guy like Adrien Broner. Also, Keith Thurman, You know, these are big guys. Jessie Vargas is a big, strong guy, a very durable, game, tough fighter, but he will get destroyed by Errol Spence. And Keith Thurman, which is a fight that he's been advocating for and that he's been wanting for quite some time, will definitely beat him. So I don't see either one of these guys being a real serious threat to the big top elite at 147 pounds. Maybe Danny Garcia will be a great matchup for either Broner or Vargas. Good, solid fight. You know, Danny Garcia is not a big welterweight. He just moved up not too long ago from 140 pounds, so that's a possible matchup. Also, a guy like Lamont Peterson, which is a good fight. These are guys that are much smaller welterweights, you know, and good competitive fights that will make great action fights. Amir Khan is also in the mix. That's great fight opportunity for both of these men. But why not see them fight again? But that's my final recap on the fights that took place this past weekend. A lot of great boxing for boxing fans. Tune into HBO this weekend, April 28th. You got Daniel Jacobs and also heavyweight Jarrell Big Baby Miller. On the undercard is going to be the Brooklyn Boys at the Barclays Center. And it's just more great boxing for boxing fans. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to this YouTube channel right here, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. Please hit that little red subscribe button. Put your email information in so you get all my notifications once I drop a new video. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Also, make comments. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. And join the Facebook boxing group page, all under the same name, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. I'm J. Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment. Thanks for your support. Keep watching, and please subscribe.